Hey everybody, J-Man here live in the Danger Room. So this is going to be a special first. This is the first episode of this, which is going to be J-Man and the X fans. So what's going on is I've reached out to just some people out there. They're just fans of X-Men and they want to talk, and that's all that it is. It's not going to be anything too crazy. We're just going to meet some people and interact. And I want to build like a little bit of a community here with fans. Sometimes I feel the fans aren't heard enough, or they don't really get a chance to speak their mind, or they've got a lot. There's some people that have their own channels, which I'll go through as well. But I like trying to form a community so we can all kind of talk, and that's why I like this idea of like phasing people into the Danger Room and kind of discussing X-Men with them. It may branch out to include other properties besides X-Men. I'm a big Superman fan, Batman, that kind of thing. But for now, I think X-Men. There's just a huge fan base, a lot of diversity in the fan base, which is great too. X-Men have been around a long time, and they've stood for a lot of things for a lot of people, and they always seem to get a relaunch. So you always get new fans that come in depending on where they start and what era. You've got the 5 original X-Men with Stan Lee and all that, and then Chris Claremont with Giant Size, and then that whole thing kind of started again. You got the X-Men cartoon fans, so a lot of different jumping on points for X-Men. So I think they're an interesting group. So that's why I want to focus on them. Okay, so without further ado, let's get in. Now he's been on already before. You see him last couple of Fridays with my WandaVision talk, and that is 1407 Gray Malkin. How's it going, man?
Hey, J-Man, how you doing, man? How's your Sunday?
I sliced my finger awfully bad this morning, and it still hurts, and it continuously bleeds.
Oh,
so unfortunately I'm not Wolverine, so
oh,
I cannot heal that.
man, you're not even Sabretooth.
No, I know, not even okay, so we're gonna keep these informal. Well, formal, informal. I do have a couple of questions, just I was kind of jumping on points. So you've been on a few times now, and we've loved having you on. Sharing your thoughts on WandaVision, and again, you're invited anytime you want. Every Friday, we're always going to be on.
Right.
And then once WandaVision ends, we'll probably go to Falcon and Winter Soldier, which will be the next show. I think it's right after WandaVision.
I think so, but I hear they're gonna show like a behind the scenes featurette between WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier. I don't know. We'll know when it happens.
I mean, there's never going to be, there's so many geek things to talk about. Like Superman is my favorite superhero, oddly enough, and my channel is mostly X-Men. So I'm wearing Superman pajamas. I'm doing the thing where like if you scroll down, I'm in my Superman pajamas. So we're not going to scroll down. But I am wearing my Phoenix shirt. Okay. Okay. So where are you from?
I'm originally from the Bay Area, Oakland, California.
Cool.
Yeah. I grew up being I'm a third generation X-Men fan. My grandmother got my uncles into it, and they went all through the 80s until like the animated show, and then I got into it. But my first X-Men comic wasn't even X-Men. It was X Factor 103, where like Havoc and Polaris were basically being stalked by Sinister and his Nasty Boys over Malice, because Malice had taken over Havoc again, and it was just a whole thing.
Was that Peter David? Was that Peter David on that one?
Yeah. Before I even knew who Peter David was, I just thought like these characters are amazing. They're basically the reason why I know how to read. Like people have Mother Goose, exactly. That's what salute.
Had that handy, right? I swear that just happens to be there. I haven't opened it yet.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like I learned how to read for this. Like a lot of kids have like other books. I had X-Men. I had X Factor. Dr. Seuss, because he was spitting those hot rhymes.
Yeah. So okay. I mean, so X Factor. Yeah. So I mean, what issue was it? 100 something you said?
103.
103. So that's pretty specific. Yeah, I'm trying to remember when I actually have Peter David's first issue And it is not in any of my cases. I love Peter David. This arm is a Peter
X Factor
David.
71.
Was that his first? Yeah, I don't. I'm like one of these
Yeah.
fans that just gets involved in the characters and story, and then I don't remember the number. Like I'm not a numbers guy. Like I'm not like there's guys out there who's like, well, that was Uncanny X-Men number 35, and not 36, you moron. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know.
No, it's not like that with me. I just like numbers, and I just remember stuff like that. It's a big disgusting mess of information in here.
Well, you're doing the timeline, right,
Yeah.
of the
Oh,
X-Men. So I put that I put your so you took it a little bit to the next level. So you like X-Men, but then you went on to doing your own channel.
yeah.
Based is it going to be based mostly just X-Men stuff, I guess, considering the name of it?
Well, we're gonna try and go into the spinoff titles. Like, I want to do. I really want to do at Jeff Loeb's X Force run back in
Mhm.
the mid '90s, because that is a very underrated run. Onslaught was really fun. Just I like a lot of people say the '90s weren't really that great. I don't. Hey, I grew up during the '90s where that they were pretty good. A lot of transitional periods, but you got a sense that the X-Men were more of a family at that time. And then things got really. That's how it was for a long time until we got Morrison, and then Whedon, and then
Mhm.
Fraction, and then oh, it's after like 2001. It's been doom and gloom. That's why Dawn of X is such a great thing right now.
Oh, we're and I'm going to ask you about that for sure. Yeah, right now I'm reading several different timelines of X-Men because for people who don't know, I haven't I'm not Mr. X-Men. Like I don't know everything, and I probably know very little compared to you even. I started reading, back Giant Size X-Men number one is my favorite, and then I started kind of with those, but then I got out of it, and then I kind of came back in with X Force with Rob Liefeld, and I know the 90s and the image guys, and this is kind of the bullshit, nobody likes them, but the thing is I loved Cable. I didn't care for Deadpool, to be honest. I know Deadpool's a very important character now.
Deadpool is an abomination. He needs to just go away.
Okay, so then
Like
we've got that there.
he's the herpes of the Marvel universe. He just pops up every once in a while, and you're just annoyed. Like, why? Like, why? Go
I,
away.
I read the first three story arcs of Deadpool,
Yeah.
and they're okay, and I'm not, I don't know, I couldn't, honestly, I couldn't get into it until the Ryan Reynolds movie, and I hate being that guy who sees the movie and then now I'm like a Deadpool fan, because
Oh, you're
I
one of
hate.
those.
No, I'm not one of those. I'm like, okay, let me go back, and then I've tried every time. Like Kelly Thompson just rebooted it, now that's canceled. Every time they've brought Deadpool, I'm like, okay, let me go for it, and I don't know what it is. I can't do it. Maybe there's people out there who are really into Deadpool, and there is something more. He looks cool,
I
but
guess
Cable.
if you like a mercenary Spider-Man, like, come
That
on.
that was that's what Rob Liefeld wanted to do. But I thought Cable was the better creation. At least he kind of had a little bit more of a backstory and seemed more interesting. I like that he's tormented and he didn't know what was going on, and then Strife comes in and Executioner's song. I have every individual issue of
Oh, okay.
Executioner's song.
That was great.
Um, I know, that's the Professor X getting killed, and everyone's killed Professor X by now. But
Hey, but he got shot at a concert though. How are you going to get like that's a Malcolm X killing? Like,
right, yeah, boom, yeah, he's done. So I mean, I like the '90s. I was going. I don't know if comics were every Fridays. Were they every Fridays at that point? Comics changed to now they're Wednesdays, but they used to be on a different day. I want to say Fridays. Were they
they've
Fridays?
always been Wednesdays with me. Like
They
Wednesday,
were on a
Tuesday,
different day at
Wednesday.
some point. But anyways, I used to go. I would drop 100 a week. Like whatever. I was royalty at my comic shop, but they loved me. Okay, so um, who do you think? You have any favorites? Like, who are your favorites, or do you have a favorite character, or do you have a couple?
I love them all. Like, I really love them all. It just like because I grew up with them. Like,
Right.
I moved around a lot as a kid, so like I had the accent. Like, I had all these friends. Like, and you know so much about them. But if I had to go with a favorite character, like right now, I'm going with Cyclops.
Yes, me too.
Like Scott Summers has been the man,
He's
like
the man.
forever, and just all right. I always thought it was kind of messed up how Wolverine was hitting on Jean, and everybody knew about it. Like, and they never said like, "Hey, bro, Wolverine's kind of hitting on your girl.
Right.
You may want to do something about that." Like, right? Is it like
Force blast them.
and 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 also I kind of hate Wolverine because I think he's the most judgmental, hypocritical, child abduction.
Yes, yes. We that came up. Child abduction came up on WandaVision talk on Friday.
Right? He's like, wait, is Logan here? like, like, all right. Honestly, I always thought with anytime with the students they see Wolverine like pass out on the couch, they're like, ugh, who's this homeless man?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. So Cyclops is your boy. So now, okay. I have a shirt. I didn't wear it today, but it's a shirt of Cyclops. This is the Grant Morrison, the jacket wearing. You know,
Yeah.
with the. So it's Cyclops holding Jean's. No, he's holding Emma's hand behind Jean's back. It's like
Oh,
and I was like, I had to just get it just because it's weird. And so, Cyclops and Jean, or Cyclops and Emma, or Cyclops and someone else.
no, all right, really, all right. Let's be real about that. He never cheated on Jean. Okay,
No, he
he
didn't.
never cheated on Jean. That was in his thoughts. And if you're really gonna get on somebody for thinking dirty thoughts, then really, what are you doing?
Yeah,
What are you
well,
doing in
I
life?
mean, and like Emma's not half bad looking, right? So
No, she's great,
so
but he
so what are
turned
you
her
gonna say?
down. He went to
It's
her as a
like,
therapist, and she fell in love with him. Like she was trying to throw herself at him. So it's like I mean, he got game. Like he was like these telepaths are all over me. I don't know why.
yeah. Well, yeah, Cyclops has been through a lot. For me, I like him probably same reasons. He's been just through a lot of different just like story arcs, and
Oh
he's an
yeah,
interesting character. He's a lot more I love Wolverine though. He's in my top 10
yeah.
favorite characters as well.
He's cool
Cyclops,
originated.
yeah, no, for sure. And Cyclops, I don't know, there's just something about him. He's a good leader. He was, Cyclops was right, as we've said before.
Right.
There's just something cool about him, and I like the fact that he is the leader. And this is why we can talk briefly a little bit about the movies if you want, but the movies did Cyclops dirty. Like,
They I like the actor. I was a fan of the actor, and like you have to watch that movie a couple of times to really get the little bit of Cyclops isms.
mhm.
Like, remember in X-Men 2 where Wolverine tried to he threw his the motorcycle keys, he's like, oh, you're out of gas. But like Cyclops, he was like, then fill it up. I'm like, there you go.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's the Scott I know. He's
yeah.
like Scott don't take no shit.
Yeah, that was James Marsden, right? And did they not? They punished him so because he was in the Superman Returns film,
Yeah.
and then he comes back for the Last Stand, and then just gets fried, and you're like, oh, this is brutal. Because in X2 he was captured for some of it.
Yeah, he was out for a lot of it.
He
But
was out for a lot of it.
uh but that's I feel like that's the producers. They just wanted Wolverine.
Right.
Everybody else like they weren't fans of the comics. They just knew that Chris Claremont is a bit of a hack. That's just me.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I have a whole thing on Claremont that arrogant, he's sexist, he's low key racist. His
Oh my
stories
gosh.
don't age well. Inferno sucks.
It does.
Like
I'm
I
gonna.
read
I'll grant you, Inferno sucks. I'll grant you that one.
if like people say X of Swords sucks, Inferno sucks. It's basically Freak Show mixed with Ghostbusters meets
Right.
X-Men. And come on, man.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. Inferno wasn't anything that I was really getting into. I read the whole thing.
Yeah,
And I've got the collected. I don't actually have all. I have some Inferno issues just because of
right,
collecting them from back then.
right.
But I bought the and I actually got the digital. the digital version of the collected, like the full collected thing. And I read the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I like Madeline. She's cool.
Yeah, but
Hellions is sick. Like her and
oh, yo,
Hellions right
yo,
now. That's
Hellions
a
to me is the comic book version of Archer. A
right.
bunch of people, they all hate each other. Especially, it was a recent issue where Sinister got kidnapped, and the team found out. They're like, "Where
Yeah.
you want to get a sandwich or something?"
Yeah, they're like
It's
laughing and they're like, who cares?
it's not funny.
No, that was
I would.
beautiful.
I mean, anybody who knows Sinister, anybody like that's an honest reaction. Zeb Wells knows these characters, and really, if you heard Sinister needed your help, you're not gonna go there right away. If anything, you're gonna go there probably like, you're gonna find out he's gonna Sinister has betrayed me, and I'm gonna end up on the other guy's side, and then I'm gonna find out Sinister manipulated everybody all along,
Right, right.
and then he killed me.
Yeah. So what are your okay? So are you reading? Let's get into some of the current stuff then. Are you reading every X book
Oh,
that's coming out?
I'm reading everything,
So am I.
everything.
So am I.
Yeah,
So what are your
it's
top
easy.
ones right now?
Oh, uh, New Mutants is really good
For
because
sure.
because you really don't know what's going on with Shadow King.
No way.
Like
I have
he
no
could be
idea.
doing something really nice, but
Mhm.
it just looks bad.
No. Well, he treated Scout like
Yeah,
well. Well, he stood up for at the end there too. I don't know. I love Scout by the way, but
see, right? You don't know. That's
you
why
don't
it's so
know, right?
interesting.
Right.
Um, Marauders is getting Marauders is just funny to me because it seems like a Chris Claremont book. It
But I
and
don't like it that much.
yeah, I don't like their like. I find it really funny,
Right.
like because those Reavers they think that the reason the X-Men failed to kill them, like no, we just didn't kill you because we had other stuff to do. You want us to kill you, we could do that, but that's
Yeah,
like
I don't get Marauders.
I
Like the first issue of Marauders was my favorite.
right,
Getting that boat and they're like, we're gonna go rescue the mutants and stuff. I'm like,
right.
oh, this is so good. And then it was like politics, Hellfire Club. I'm like, what happened here? This was an adventure book and it turned into this like political moves. How they should just call it the Hellfire Club or whatever.
That's essentially what it is. In the first issue, I was getting like Pirates of the Dark Water vibes.
Yeah.
They're going to be on the ocean. They're going to meet up with like I don't know one of Namor's
Oh,
buddies, so, like one of those giant octopus.
yeah.
Just stuff like but I don't like how they're writing Kitty because she made this really kind of racist comment to Bishop. Like, wow, that's
Kitty
weird.
Kitty Kitty has been like ruined. They've systematically like stripped her of her like goodness. I always felt that she was like had a lot of heart, even though she was a
Yeah,
badass. That one issue where she was fighting those guys and like the stuff was going through and she was like it showed how she could like fight with her phasing
yeah.
ability. That was sick. And then they gave her that red coat. I'm like, I don't like this coat. It looks stupid.
See,
Um
I think it's good character progression for her though. It showed like, yeah, she's a good person, but now she's just very arrogant. Like it's just her,
yeah, and I don't
and
like arrogant though. I don't like arrogant Kitty.
that's her though. She's being female Wolverine. She's big, like she's doing everything Wolverine would do.
So yeah, I mean, okay, so that's Marauders. What's the other what other favorites? There's X-Men,
Like
X Factor, X
um,
Force.
Hellions is really good. Wolverine is really good,
Good,
and
yeah,
like this Wolverine and X Force could honestly be the same book, really,
yeah.
because they're
We
written by
talked
the
about
same.
that
Yeah,
briefly.
right. So like, all right, X-Men, New Mutants, X Force, um, X Force, Wolverine, Excalibur's getting good too, but okay, I wish I could talk to Teeny Howard and like let her know, hey, Gambit's still part of the Thieves Guild. He's still king of the Thieves Guild, right? He has connections to the crooked market. You can do a bunch of stuff, like a bunch of magical stuff with this, but I don't think she. I don't know what's going
She's
on.
not using. I actually like Excalibur, but sort of for a different reason. But yeah, Gambit's being very underutilized. I feel in Excalibur. I like Rogue a lot.
Oh yeah,
Jubilee's kind of
Rogue's
cool.
great.
You know what it is? This is really a stupid reason, but Betsy, her armor, I'm just like, this looks so cool to me. I don't know. I'm just like, they need to make a statue or something of that because like she just look, and I'm just looking at her. I'm like, wow, cool armor, cool armor,
Oh,
cool.
the Captain
She
Britain stuff.
Captain Britain, yeah,
Oh
like
yeah,
she
hey, that's
looks
great. That's
awesome.
Richter's cool.
Yeah, he's good.
And like Jubilee, like I just want Shogo to grow up.
I know.
Let the baby grow up. Come on, like just I don't. This is why we don't like superheroes having children because
And they
they
never grow.
just stay babies.
Or they grow and the other guy doesn't. It's like
Right.
I think Judge Dredd is the only character that ages in comics. Judge Dredd does age. So whenever he first appeared in the 70s, he's
Yeah.
literally every year they do age him a year according from 2000 AD they age him. That's the only character I'm aware of that ages.
Nice.
Yeah, that yeah.
Not even
Um,
Cable ages that fast.
no, yeah. Well now he's young. So it
Hey,
is what it is.
I like young Cable.
I like young Cable too. I think he's pretty
I'm
neat.
digging him. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, I want old man." Because like, okay, calm down. All right, this is the Cable you like. He's just not there yet. This is like
Right.
we were talking about with Doctor Who.
Yep.
Uh, like he's in a different place. Like I think, but also this. So does this mean for him, like old man Cable, he remembers Krakoa? So I don't know how to time travel.
Timey wimey.
Yeah,
Russell
yeah,
T Davies or David Tennant or whoever would
yeah,
whatever
you know,
talks.
yeah.
The timey wimey wibbly wobbly. That explains it all. All right, so let's end off by saying what superpower would you or what mutant power would you want to have?
Mutant power. You know what? I would probably go with. I wouldn't want to change the world that much. Probably empath. Just change people. Just
Right.
make
Oh,
people do
he's
what I want.
great. I love empath in
Oh,
in.
he's so funny and he's so real with it. Like,
I
imagine
know.
go to the airport and you just say, "Hey, I just want to get on the plane," and he just let you on the plane.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
It's like,
all right, cool. Okay, so you want I put a link to your channel.
okay.
So I got a couple more people lined up. So for the people lined up, if you guys want me to post anything in the comments, please post a link in the private chat window, and I will post that for you. Now, so Gray, I already posted your link, and you'll probably be I'll probably see you on Friday, anyways. But
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead and
definitely.
if you just want to let people know quickly what you're about, and then I'll get to the next guest.
Um, we're explaining the X-Men at the end of the day. We're telling you about these great characters that you may know now, but they were way different back then.
Right.
And also, I am so close to breaking down the code on how to quantify how long the X-Men have been together. I'm so close. I'm right.
This is
Like
like impossible. It's like you have to
no.
decipher all
It's
these.
like I'm almost done. Like I'm at like the last will and testament of Charles Xavier,
Okay.
and so like I still got a couple. I'm trying to get all the way up to currently. That's my baseline. That's
It's
my
gonna it's gonna it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be
yeah.
tough.
I'm ready though. Let's do this.
All right, cool. All right, well, thanks for coming on, and hopefully you can come back on Friday for more WandaVision
Oh,
talk. That's the
definitely.
finale, so we're gonna have a lot to talk
We
about.
got to talk about it. Like Wanda, she's cuckoo. All right, like
She's
she needs to
cuckoo
be.
for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's cuckoo for Vision. It just yeah,
Oh, I love
take her
Vision.
out. The same. The
All right,
protector.
cool.
All right,
Thanks so much for coming on, man, and
thank
I
you.
will see you on Friday.
All right, later.
All right, adios. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna. So these, I'm just connecting with the fans if you're just joining us. Basically, what's going on here is that we're in the Danger Room. I'm talking to just fans of the X-Men, and I just put a post out there saying, anybody want to come chit chat about X-Men? Tell me about yourself. Build a community. Come on in, and we're gonna go from there. So I'm gonna bring in Chris next. And we're just going to do a quick chat, sort of like what we did with Gray. And so let's get Chris in here. Chris, how's it going, man?
Oh, all good.
Good. So we're gonna. Again, you saw how we did it with Gray Malkin. We're just gonna
Yeah.
do kind of informal stuff. If you just want to start out, just a quick kind of where you're from and how did you get into the X-Men and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm from Lawrenceville, New Jersey, and I got into the X-Men from actually since a kid. I watched I think it was either a Saturday or after school special. Was an animated show, X-Men, called Pride of the X-Men.
Yeah.
And I felt as though it was interesting. My father used to actually work at Marvel comic books, and he would give me comic books to read here and there, but I was mainly kind of like in the Star Wars. So I didn't really pay a lot of attention to the X-Men. And then I saw Pride of the X-Men, and then I saw the 6-player X-Men arcade game, and I
Oh,
was
I
like,
love it.
and I said to myself, these are some interesting characters with different powers and things like that. So, and then the cartoon show, and then I just decided to pick up some comic books to start reading.
Awesome. Yeah, that 6-player game, they're doing the 4-player version as arcade one up. I don't know if you've heard of the arcade one up cabinets.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
so oh man, like I'm all over that game. And I love Dazzler. She's a character that I have Dazzler's entire run of comics.
Mhm.
And I have her first appearance. And her in that game, like when she'd shoot her energy thing, it's just like
Yeah.
blows up the whole screen. And then
Yeah.
Colossus, he's like, oh,
Oh,
like it,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I
Yep.
had that game on my mobile, and they took it off, and I was really upset. I don't know what iPhone I had it on. I went to the next iPhone, and it wasn't available. I was so disappointed. And then now, I mean, you can play it on emulation and whatever.
Yeah, I
But
actually have it on. I actually have it on PS3. I bought it on the
oh,
yeah, I bought it on the PlayStation Store when it was available. It's not available anymore, but I still have it. I still have it from then.
oh, that's great. Yeah, no, and Pride of the X-Men. Oh
Yeah,
man. Oh, so I was there when that aired, and it was like a Marvel. There was like a Marvel. Was it Marvel Action Hour or something? There's some kind of
something
Marvel.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah. And I watched, I was like, whoa, this is so cool because it was the more modernized. I do love original, obviously, I love the original X-Men. But this was like sort of the more updated X-Men, which kind of had the arcade characters. It was all
right,
tied in, right?
right,
And introducing Shadowcat. I thought, wow, this is so great. And then that was it. That was it for that one. And they went to the 90s cartoon, which is a great cartoon, obviously. But I kind of wanted to see more of that storyline. And they had the brown Wolverine costume, which I love.
right.
I love the brown kind of John Byrne type Wolverine costume. And I was so sad to have that not continue. But the 90s cartoon's great, so there is that.
Yeah, yeah. That was a really good cartoon. I mean, I know they switched a lot of things around,
They did.
but I understand why, because was it Saturday mornings, and it's for kids and stuff like that. I mean, I was like 11 years old when that cartoon came out, so I understand why they switched around certain things, but it was a really uh a good storyline driven show, just like the comic books.
Yeah, and I think that goes to show that the fans, like they always say, like the toxic fans or the fan. But the thing is that I'm not saying I literally want this comic book put onto screen. What I'm saying is I want the characters to be true to who the characters are,
They are.
and I want to see that. And I don't mind if you tweak things like WandaVision is not exactly the Vision and Scarlet Witch either miniseries really. It's elements from things, and and I don't mind that. Like MCU kind of has their version. Now there's some things that maybe I don't like as much, but we're not so crazy that we're gonna just like get pissed off if it's not exactly the. Because how are you
Exactly.
gonna do it? You
Right.
know. So do you have are you reading any of the current comics right now with the Dawn of X stuff or?
Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm playing. I'm kind of playing catch up.
Mhm.
I am. I know this is just a while ago. I'm currently reading House of M. I just
Oh
started. I
yeah.
really started because I'm like that's a really good storyline, and
Mhm.
I'm just really playing catch up.
Oh, you're gonna be. I'm playing catch. I'm playing catch up. So I said it, and this is the thing on my channel. as well, that even though I do a lot of X-Men stuff, I'm not an X-Men expert. Like,
Mhm.
there's so many things out there. It's very difficult to like, and like I'm going back to the Grant Morrison run, which I kind of just missed out entirely on. And everyone says it's such a great run. It is great. I've read the first couple of trades, so I've been going back and trying to catch up. I'm reading the new stuff, which some of it is really, really good. And some of it is like okay, so it is, it is what it is. But is there any kind of like, is there any X-Men character that either you relate to or that you really like? Can you pick one favorite, or do you have a few favorites?
I've always liked Psylocke.
Oh,
I've always liked Psylocke, and then I her whole storyline with the clone Quanin, and
yeah,
that was weird. And then the whole Strife legacy virus thing that took her
yeah.
out. Like it was a lot. And then her yeah, stuck in the '90s for me. I'm like kind of stuck in the '90s when she got slashed by Sabretooth, and then she had other powers to phase out of walls. So she was always an interesting character to me because that wasn't really her original body. So I always like that. Like, wow, how do you deal with being yourself but in a different body?
She's a complex character. Just recently, they've I don't know if you know, just recently that she's separate. So Quanin is now separate, right? So Quanin is now Psylocke, and she's her character, and then Betsy is now
Her own,
Ca-
okay.
Captain Britain or whatever. Um, so that's a really interesting thing, and Quanin is bloody awesome in this. You should pick up Helly if you're gonna grab one just for the heck of grabbing one. That's a current one is Hellions, because she is the leader. Well, yeah, well, Sinister's the leader of Hellions, but she's kind of the leader. She
Mhm.
is the best in that. I liked her a lot. Prior to that, I liked her a lot in X Force, where it was her, Phantomax, Wolverine, Deadpool. Who else was in that? Archangel. It was like that was a great
Mhm.
X Force run, as well for Quanin. What did you think of Olivia Munn, or how they portrayed Psylocke in Age of, or not Age? What was it called?
Uh,
Yeah, Age of Apocalypse.
yeah. It was Age of Apocalypse. I think that I feel like they could have done more with her character. I think Olivia Munn did what she could with the script that they gave her. So I didn't. I liked her as Psylocke, to be honest. I think she had to look. She had to look and
Sure.
and everything like that. So, but wish there was a little bit more. More for her to do other than be like a apocalypse stooge. you know,
Yeah,
but you know,
she
um,
kind of, yeah, that movie kind of made her get messed up. She looked exactly, hey Steven, um she looked like Cyclone or Psylocke. She looked good, but like her Storm, like all of well, I guess not Magneto because he was in prior films, but like they really kind of ruined those characters. And Storm is a super important character,
support. Yeah,
and they just kind of
yeah.
just, yeah, and they're just thugs. They gave her the, remember in Batman and Robin, Poison Ivy had Bane, and you're like, why is Bane Poison
Why?
Ivy's like
Oh, lackey.
chauffeur,
Right.
lackey?
And he and yeah.
And
Oh
it's
man, I
like,
remember that movie. They nerfed him so much, and I was like,
yeah,
Bane is intelligent. Why is he's only saying one word, Bane? I'm like, wait,
hey,
what?
oh. And I'm thinking, like, I mean, Olivia Munn obviously is a little bit more than that, but not much more. She showed up, and I thought, wow, she looks so good. She has her powers. It looks cool. Like she's jumping around and everything, and she's got the costume. Like this is pretty cool. This is pretty awesome. And then she just did nothing. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and it
why are
just
you even in
disappeared.
this?
And I was hoping that she would be in Dark Phoenix, but Dark Phoenix in itself, oh man, it's a whole train wreck in itself.
I do like Sophie Turner as Phoenix, and
Yes, I do.
I have Turner vision. So if I see Sophie Turner, I'm just like, oh, this is great. Even if it's, even if maybe it's not great, but I'm just like, wow, this is the best movie ever. Um, but yeah, okay. So are you looking forward to sort of the X-Men kind of getting incorporated into the
I
MCU? Do you
definitely am. I definitely am. And I was wondering, were they kind of trying to do that with the WandaVision? Because I was like, wait
Mhm.
a minute. I was like, wait, they brought him back. They brought him. in as Quicksilver. I was like, oh, what are they doing with that? But yeah, I'm definitely excited for the X-Men to come into the MCU. I am kind of wondering how they're going to introduce it. Are they going to do it with like? I'm interested to see how they're going to do it. Is going to do it with like Doctor Strange, the whole multiverse thing, or what's gonna, how they're going to do all that?
Yeah, I'm very interested in, and to see how they're gonna play that out. I don't think that Evan Peters is the Fox Quicksilver. I think it's just they got him as the face of it, and just to for it was more for the audience to be like, "Ooh, that's cool," or
Right.
versus like that's supposed to be the first link to the multiverse. Because I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to save it for a movie or if they're going to try to maybe try to do it somehow in a show. I don't know if WandaVision is the right way to do it. Maybe it'll be the multiverse, as you're saying, with Doctor Strange. That might be a cool thing to do. Would you want to recast like? And I guess Wolverine is pretty much done. Like Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. He's pretty much done. It'd be cool for a cameo or something like that. I mean, not as Wolverine or maybe something else, but like kind of how they did like a Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters weren't Ghostbusters; they were just people. That'd have been cool. That'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, I like the younger cast, Storm, Cyclops. I don't think probably James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. I don't think they're going to come back. So who knows?
Yeah, I think it's probably all going to be new. They're just going to reboot it or whatever from scratch. Did you like any of the movies? Like was like everyone says X2 is kind of their favorite. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, for the first X-Men to come out in the year 2000, I thought it was, I mean, I was, a kid then or, young adult then. I thought it was pretty cool. X2 was my favorite, followed by First Class. I like the emotional piece of First Class.
Yeah.
And I really like the relationship that they depicted between Magneto and Professor X.
Yeah, that was good.
I really that was really good. Like how they, and the introduction. It'd have been cool for the First Class to actually be like the First Class, but I get it. They wanted to try something different, try something new. But like I said, I really like the evolution of Professor X and Magneto, of opposites of the same coin.
Yeah, they did handle them very well in First Class, and I don't mind the movies as much because I tend to separate. Like as I said earlier, I'm 43 years old, so like when these movies were coming out, I was already like I don't even care anymore. Like to me, it's like to me, it's like Superman. Christopher Reeve was the best superhero movie, and then after that, it's all kind of like downhill. So I mean, so I separate the comics from the movies, and that's why you don't see. Anyone who's watching my channel is not seeing a lot of rage. I don't rage out against casting, and I don't get pissed off because like it doesn't matter to me. It's never going to be the comics anyways, and I don't want it to be the comics, so it doesn't matter. Like if they decide that okay, we're not going to do the 5 original X-Men. We're not going to have Iceman and Beast, and we're going to have Storm and Wolverine instead. I'm like, okay, well that's what you're going to have, and whatever. It doesn't matter to me at this point. So I'm looking at it as just a movie. I'm like, oh, that was a cool movie. I liked it. And then that's it. Now, I don't know if you've seen, my entire room is filled with everything. I have every Marvel and DC Blu-ray or DVD that's ever come out ever, except for like, I think I'm missing Gotham. I'm missing Gotham, Legion, and Gifted. There's a couple that didn't come to Blu-ray in Canada. So I'm missing a few of those, but other than that, I have like pretty much everything. So
I like Gifted. Gifted was a good series. I like Gifted. Gifted was a good.
I met there's a picture there with me and Polaris. I have Polaris tattooed on me, so
I see. Wow, cool.
Yeah. And I got Quicksilver as well. So I love Polaris. So yeah, Emma Dumont was great. It was great meeting her. Okay. So before we end off, is there anything do you do anything like on social media or on YouTube or anything, or are you just like no?
No, yeah, I don't do anything on. I'm a music manager, but I don't have a YouTube channel or anything like that.
Okay. Then let's hear what your before I let you go. What would be your mutant power if you had a mutant power?
Um, I mean, power would probably be Magneto's power, magnetism.
Magnets? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, there's so many different things like his powers are very interesting. There's so many different things that he can do. I remember there was one time that I was reading the Age of Apocalypse, and Bishop had confronted him about the whole David Holler thing when David Holler killed Professor X,
Mhm.
and he slowed the iron in his he slowed the blood flow to Bishop's brain to make him pass out by slowing the iron in his
Yeah,
blood. And I was like, wow, that's so interesting.
yeah. There's a lot you can do. Magneto's very powerful,
Very
and
powerful.
it's tough to show that sometimes in a movie or a show. Like I know they can just show him lifting something big or whatever, but when you start getting into the intricacies of like what could he really do with more training, like could like because metal, and if he's controlling anything, like they're like it's endless. He could kill everybody. There's like I think what was that? There was like a little cartoon meme thing of like Magneto killing everybody, and it was like he literally killed everybody. And it's
Yeah,
like Iron Man shows up and he's like, "Oh look, Iron Crunch," and it's like
right.
and it's like Thanos showed up. It's like okay, Crunch with he has the glove. He just rips
Yep.
it off of him. It's like okay, so I mean it was pretty crazy.
Right.
Okay, all right. Well, Chris, thanks so much for coming on. I
Thanks for having me.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And then again, just I every Friday I do a live stream talking about whatever's current at the time. So WandaVision. So if you ever want, I also I post a link in the chat and I face people in to come share their thoughts. So if you're ever around 6 p.m. On a Friday Eastern time, if you're ever around, if you want to pop in, that's cool. If you don't want to, that's cool too. Whatever you want to do. But thanks so much for coming on. Okay,
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
cool,
And I'll
man.
tune
Take
in on
care.
Friday.
See ya. Okay. So next, I'm going to bring in is Dave. I found Dave through one of the Facebook groups. I had Chris as well. I found through one of the X-Men Facebook groups that I'm a part of. So let's get Dave in here. Dave, how's it going?
Going good. Thank you so much for being on your show.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, it's cool. I want to get the fans together and just have a quick chat with everybody. It's tough because like people comment and stuff on your videos and you're like, hey, how's it going? You like and whatever, but like you don't get a chance to talk. It's hard to talk back and forth, and then if you start getting
Right? Like,
yeah,
so
you start
great.
getting you go crazy. So okay, let's so where are you from and how did you get into X-Men?
All right. So I'm from Oakville, Ontario,
Oh
Canada.
my God, I'm in
Yeah,
Mississauga.
you're Mississauga. Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's so cool. And
that's crazy.
yeah, and I got into X Men when I was very very young. I was like 2 years old when I got into Marvel, like X Men and then Spider Man and Hulk. They introduced me to all that. So
That's awesome. So are you so are you a comic book guy or are you like a video game, cartoon, movie, or all or
I'm actually all like mostly movies and cartoons I'm
Mhm.
into, and sometimes I read comics from time to time. Just when I'm bored or something.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's are you a 90s cartoon fan
Uh,
then or
Not really. Like when I was growing up, I'm a 2000s kid to be honest.
so
So
that's what Evolution was that X-Men Evolution?
yes, X Men Evolution was the animated series I watched.
Yeah.
I even had the VHS tapes when I was a kid, and I could watch
Nice.
it all. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, so I've got those I believe it's on Blu-ray. I can't see from my I've got so much crap in this room. There's like statues in front of everything.
Yeah, I can see a room. It's like full of like comics and you
Oh,
know.
it's tons. This room, if I did a pan of this room, I could pan a little bit like this here is just horror movies, and there's two shelves of horror movies, and then
Jeez.
you go this way, and there's my buddy Namor, who's my favorite Marvel character. I guess he's a mutant, and I got
Yeah,
X Force
yeah.
stuff there. So I guess I lied because I guess Namor would be my favorite, but I don't count him as an X-Men. Cyclops is my favorite.
Oh yeah, he's the founding member of the original five.
So I mean, yeah. So do you have any favorite characters, or you just like a few of them?
Oh yeah, so first off, Wolverine, he'll always be my number one. He's like the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
But my least favorite character, to be honest, I love is Beast.
That's your least favorite character.
Yeah, because he's one of the original five in the comics, and Kelsey Grammer and Nicholas Hoult, their portrayals in the movies were really good.
Beast, like Beast in the current what we're calling the Dawn of X, because we have, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's very strategic, as he always is, but like they're almost portraying him as a villain, and it's kind of interesting.
Really?
No, he's not a villain, but like he's doing things that maybe aren't like the good old nice way to do things, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's a very interesting character, especially recently. But yeah, Wolverine. I mean, Wolverine is awesome. He is in my top. He's in my top 10 favorite characters. And when I was reading Wolverine now, this Wolverine here.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So I dressed up as this. Now you may not believe this.
All right.
But it is true. I dressed up as this Wolverine.
Really?
For Halloween when I was 16 years old.
Oh.
And nobody knew who I was.
Really?
And I said, and they're like, "Who are you?" And they thought I was Freddy Krueger because I had knives. I was like, "Well, first of all, I'm a childhood horror fanatic."
Yeah.
I'm not Freddy Krueger because I don't have a striped shirt, and Freddy Krueger has 4 knives on a glove on one.
Exactly. He only has one.
Not 6. So I told them, I'm like, I'm Wolverine. And they're like, who's that? And I was like, I said, he's from comic books. And they're like, it's like Spider-Man. I'm like, well, he's kind of like that. And nobody knew. So I was a fan of Wolverine where literally the kids at my school were like, who's Wolverine? What is that? I mean, can you imagine that now? Like, everyone knows who Wolverine. Like when my mom is like, "Oh, I like that," Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. You're like, "What? How do you know who that is?"
Hugh Jackman, for example, he is number one. Like he really brought the character to life for many years.
Oh, for sure.
But the only problem is that he never wore the iconic yellow suits.
I know. What's your preferred? I actually like Patch. I like this. I don't know what to call this Wolverine, this incognito, like Chris Claremont Wolverine. I have Wolverine number 1, and that's why I started reading. Literally, the one where he's in that costume and he's standing above the dead bodies.
Yes.
So I started reading from there, and so I like Patch. I like the Chris Claremont stuff. I like the John Byrne, the brown. I think the brown one is probably my favorite Wolverine, the brown costume, and then there's the yellow, the classic. What do you have a preferred Wolverine look?
Preferred Wolverine look. That's an easy one. The preferred Wolverine look was the look from X-Men Evolution, the orange black suits. That was my favorite.
Yep. So that was sort of a weird kind of spin on the brown costume because it was like, it was darker. Yeah, it's like orange. It was almost like like a darker orange, lighter brown-ish kind of Wolverine. Yeah, and that's sort of the Wolverine that I like. I like the it's like the same thing, but just with the V.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, is Logan your favorite of the X-Men movies, or do you have a different favorite?
Logan. Yeah. Well, Logan is number 1, but I also love in the movies. I also love Professor X because he's the founder and leader. Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy. Am I pronouncing his last name right? Their portrayals were really.
Yeah, McAvee.
Yeah, McAvee. That's it. Their portrayals were really good, especially when I saw these two together in Days of Future Past. That was really great to see.
It is cool to see them together. Yeah, that is awesome.
It would have been more awesome to see Michael Fassbender and Ian McCall, like their characters together. That would have been really good too.
Oh yeah, we didn't see them together, right? Because no, I don't think we saw. Yeah. I haven't seen the movies as many times. I've seen them each a couple times for sure, but they all start to meld together. Like you're like, yeah, what happened in that one again?
Yeah.
But so are you excited for like the mutants coming into the MCU or?
Yes, I've been hearing talks about it. Like in one of my latest posts on the X Men group, some of the members say how they're gonna do the X Men First Class routine for the MCU. Like they're gonna do the original five,
Mhm.
or they're gonna make do something different. But no, like I agree with that idea. They should do like the original five, like Cyclops, Jean, Angel, Iceman, and Beast
Yeah.
together. That would be good routine to do.
Yeah, and then they could always add and subtract characters here and there as they go, right? Like you can and I always thought Wolverine is just good on. I think Wolverine should have a television series, sort of like a Daredevil or like a Luke Cage or something.
Maybe they should do like an X-23 spin-off TV series with Wolverine's daughter as the lead star. They should go with that.
X23 is really cool. I collected her entire run of the most current series, and I don't have her first appearance because it was in that weird issue, but I've got her first. I've got her Wolverine #1 when she was Wolverine and it was #1, and I've got Honey Badger or Scout. I've got her first appearance.
Oh, that's really
So yeah, they're cool characters, but like I mean, Wolverine is so versatile. You could do a lot with that character.
exactly.
Are you watching any of the like are you watching WandaVision and all that stuff?
Yes. I just started watching the show like last month.
Mhm.
I watched all the episodes. One of my favorite episodes was the Halloween one where
Yeah,
Wanda and Vision are in their comic looking costumes, which
yeah,
is
that
so.
was awesome.
And we got to see Evan Peters as Quicksilver, which was awesome to see because everyone loves him as Quicksilver. So
So do you prefer him? Do you prefer that portrayal versus the Aaron Taylor Johnson portrayal from Age of Ultron?
oh yeah, Evan Peters' portrayal is so full of comedy. Like he really
Mhm.
brought like he's like Impulse from the Flash comics. Like how
Yep.
Impulse is all energetic and carefree. That's what Evan did with that version. So he made Quicksilver really carefree and more immature.
There's a lot of those. If you go back to the comic book history of all of those characters, like Scarlet Witch, Vision, Quicksilver, like it's just like a complete disaster. There, it is so complex because like Quicksilver was married to Crystal from Inhumans, and they had
Really?
a kid, and they had a kid.
Ah.
And then it's like, and then in the there was an X Factor series written by Peter David, which is really good.
Ah.
It's called All New X Factor,
Oh.
and it's Polaris, Quicksilver, Danger.
Hmm.
Who else was on that team? Warlock, I think, was on that team. I'm trying to remember now. That was a great series. So there's like a Quicksilver's a cool character, and the way they showed his powers
Hmm.
in what was the first one he was in? Days of Future Past. Yeah,
Yeah, to be
yeah,
exact. Yeah.
yeah. That was awesome. Basically, like that was just like done so cool. He's like moving the bullets around.
Yes, I love that scene where he's playing his music and his
Yeah,
headphones.
yeah,
That was like my favorite, and
yeah. No.
especially, and it's really disappointing that he didn't tell Magneto that he is his son. Like that's the missed opportunity.
So are Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, are they Avengers or are they X-Men? What do you prefer? Because in comics they're
Oh,
both. It's like I don't know. They
oh, geez, that's a hard one. Okay, I think this is how it goes. So Scarlet Witch, Avengers, of course. Quicksilver belongs on the X-Men side, to be honest.
yeah.
So
So you prefer the way that they're because it's like when I was growing up, they were yeah. It felt like they were more on Avengers because like there was this at one point Scarlet Witch was like she was on Avengers all the time, and she was in West Coast Avengers, and then when she was with Vision, they were always Avengers, and then Quicksilver, he would come and go sometimes because he's kind of a dick sometimes in the
yeah,
comics, and
yeah, he is a dick sometimes. Like,
yeah, so which is why I like him. I've got Polaris and Quicksilver, tattooed, so I like Quicksilver in any form. He's great.
yeah.
Um, so what if you could have a mutant power, what mutant power would you want to have?
Oh, jeez, that's a hard one. Oh, this is a hard one. I have to say Quicksilver, super speed, like
Super speed.
because I always have I'm always like in a hurry to get to my job, and if I had super speed, I would just run there and back.
I love how people always, and you're not the first to do this, but everyone does this. They equate their powers to their daily lives, And my response to you would be like, if you have super speed, you don't need to go to your job. You can get, you're not going to need to go there. I do it too. Like, I'm thinking like, man, if I was like, I'm sitting on my job, like, this sucks. Like, man, I wish I had this power just so I could do this easier. And I'm thinking, man, if I had that power, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this lame job that I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, do you have do you have anything that you want to share with the audience, like or any links, or do you do anything like, do you have a channel, or do you have anything on the side that you want to promote?
Sure. Yeah. I just want to say to all you X-Men fans that anyone who loves the franchise, the movies, the comics, go join the X-Men group on Facebook, because you can share all your thoughts about everything, like 90s from today. You can say anything, and yeah, just be a X-Men for life.
Yeah, I've got a couple of different groups that I'm in that are for X-Men as well. So people know me kind of anyway. So like, if you see, you'll see my logo's the same everywhere I go. It's the J with the crack in it.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you'll definitely see me, and if anyone who subscribes to me, and if they want to know what groups to go into, I'll show them. I'm part of a New Mutants group and a couple of different X-Men groups as well. So the group's really cool. Everybody's like super awesome on. I was trying to get some of the mods to come on and share their because like, if you start a group, like, that's taking it to the next level, right? Like, there's like, I'm a fan, and then like Gray Malkin, he's got a channel, so now he's just like, I'm taking this to the next level of like, I want to talk to you guys about X-Men. I don't, so
yeah, like, yeah.
So that's cool. Okay, anything else you want to say? Are you good? Are you?
Yeah. I actually want to ask you a question. You're a Hulk fan, right?
For sure.
Tell me. Everyone's been saying this for years. Is Bruce Banner a mutant? Because everyone's saying how he's able to survive the gamma rays.
No. I'm an old school. And there's a buddy of mine, Steven, is in the he may or may not still be in the chat. Me and him did an entire Hulk section on my channel called Gamma Zone, where we talked about the Hulk, and those are some good. If you're into Hulk, you should check those out. They go really in depth with the comics, and I've been reading the comics from the very beginnings, and Steven has as well. He is not a mutant in any way. Maybe they retcon this, but I don't think they have, because I've read almost all of Immortal Hulk, which is the newest series, and I don't think there's any hints of him being a mutant. So
and plus,
he's not.
And plus, I've read about his abusive background. I felt bad for him, that he was bullied, abused, and all that rage. That's where the Hulk comes from, all the anger.
Yeah, so there's my buddy Steven, and yeah, he's saying no way. So Steven is one of my co-hosts on the Danger Room Friday nights.
And he says his powers are not permanent.
That's correct. They come and go as the Hulk comes and goes. So again, he wasn't born with the X gene that transforms him into a mutant in his teen years. So he is not a mutant. And again, like Hulk's been around for decades now. So there may have been one comic where someone said something or whatever, but generally speaking, and I'm an old time comic book nerd, he is not a mutant in my opinion at all. And Steven's an old time nerd too, so he's saying no.
And a lot of people say that he's like a living gamma battery / reactor. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's debatable, because that's just going to be at the discretion of the writer at the time, right? Like, when I started with Hulk, he was Gray Hulk with Peter David's run. I love Peter David.
I read that Stan Lee, in one of his old interviews, he said that he wanted the Hulk to be gray because it would be like a dark, scary character. But then there was trouble with the ink problems, and then they chose green because that's perfect, because they made him like the Jolly Green Giant or the Green Goliath. So yeah, he was gray in issue 1, and then he was green in the next time, and then from the rest of the point on, he was green until Peter David. Well, not I don't think Peter David turned him gray, but something happened and he became gray, and then he was gray. So I actually have a Gray Hulk tattoo. I like Gray Hulk. Oh yeah, I see that. But but then Stan Lee, he said that the Gray Hulk becomes gray when at night, and then the Green Hulk that we all know and love only becomes when he's angry or rage.
That was the first. Yeah, the first iteration was, well, it was weird. If you go back and see some of the videos that we had covered, where we're covering the first ever comics, Hulk changed a little bit here and there. Like it wasn't very clear why he would turn. It just like he might be agitated and he turn or something, right? And then it got to where he gets angry, he turns green, and but then it became every night. And Mr. Fix It or Gray Hulk or whatever you want to call him,
Yeah.
he never liked Bruce Banner, so he would try to do things so that when Banner, like let's say right before daybreak, Gray Hulk would get himself like drunk, so that when
Yeah.
when he became Banner was just intoxicated and he just pass out because he couldn't handle the liquor,
Exactly.
and then he'd be asleep the whole day, and then Gray Hulk would come back. So they did a lot of cool stuff like that. It's definitely an awesome,
And he's
awesome
obviously
series.
the Jekyll and Hyde superhero. You know what I mean?
It's a little bit of Frankenstein's monster with the look, but the Jekyll and Hyde type of idea where you transform. But it's funny too because in Jekyll and Hyde, little known fact, Hyde was smaller.
Oh
than
yeah,
Jekyll.
like Hyde was more like a creepy
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a different. That's a very little known. Anytime you see him now, it's like he grows into like a big because that's borrowing back from the Hulk. It's like you got the thing Hulk borrowed from this, and then this
Yeah.
comes back and borrows from that. So it's a nice little loop.
Yeah, like I said, Mr. Hyde, he was almost like Green Goblin in a way, if you know what I mean. Like the way
Yeah, he's like creepy and weird, and like his features were all weird and everything.
and evil laugh and
Yeah. All right. Well, okay, Dave. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
For sure, man. And yeah, if you want, every Friday we do at 6 p.m. Eastern, we do a talk, and we allow people in the chat to come in. I can only have a few at a time, but yeah, people can come in and share their thoughts. If you're watching WandaVision, that's what we're doing. So if you happen to be by, that's
right,
cool.
cool.
If not, that's cool too. Okay, thanks
All
so
right,
much for
thanks
coming
for
on. All right, see ya.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this week's Danger Room. And I've got a few people lined up for next week as well. So if you want to be part of the J-Man and the X-Fans chat in the Danger Room on Sundays, message me. You can message me on Twitter at Lifetime Nerd. All that'll be in the description once this uploads. And you can subscribe. You can talk to me on my channel here. You can put a comment. So if you want to be part of this, leave a comment, and I'll try to get you guys in. I'm trying to get as many people in. They're about 15-20 minutes each. It's so I get about 3 people per week for now. We'll see how it goes. If more people want to join, I'll open it up to go a little longer. But that's going to wrap it up for right now. Thank you so much for watching, and we're going to see you on Wednesday for the weekly X-Men talk. I'll be reviewing whatever books come out at that time. And then Friday again for WandaVision. That's going to be the Danger Room with me, Sean, and Steven. We're going to be breaking down WandaVision, the final episode. I'm pretty pumped up, to be honest. So let's see how that goes. And then Sunday again for some more X-Fans chats. Okay, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.